Namaste, good morning, everybody, or afternoon if you're doing this later on in the day. Nice to see you all here on a rather nice Monday, it seems, so fingers crossed. We've been having a terrible summer, Deb. It's just been really appalling. So, but anyway, it's good for the earth, I guess. Here we are, we're in week 3 of this 6 weeks series, and we're in coming to the 3rd chakra called Mainipura. Mainipura is the solar plexus, so you might like to just place your hands. Let me see if I can put my camera so you get a bit more of me. Right below the ribs. So between the sort of the ribs and your navel, the navel, it's really about an inch or so, maybe a little bit more above the navel, but you feel this, the solar plexus, everybody knows where the solar plexus is. So I guess in that way, it's somehow a little easier to access this experience of Mainipura. So why don't we just get into it? I'm going to chat a little bit about Mainipura, but at the same time, it might be nice for you to close your eyes and delve in. So to take your awareness, and if it's helpful, please just place your hands on the area if that's helpful for you to really continue to connect with this part of the body. And remember, the chakras are, they're our subtle anatomy. So sometimes it can be a little hard to begin to create a relationship. But as I said, I think this one's a little easier to access and feel. So Mainipura, you might like to, as you begin to envision and feel into this chakra, you could take some nice deep breaths in through the nose and take the breath into that area of the body. And each time you inhale, you can imagine that you're opening and expanding that area of the body or that chakra. And if you're a visual person, you might like to add this idea that every time you inhale and expand, you brighten this beautiful yellow, vibrant ball of energy there, a little bit like a sun, so your own internal sun. So each time you're inhaling, a gentle brightening and perhaps expansion of that area of that chakra. And each time you exhale, just the fortifying, just this deepening, this connecting to yourself and to the chakra. This chakra, we're coming from the lower chakras, so we've got Muladhara, our basic survival, meeting our basic needs, coming up to Swadhisthana, which is really beginning to live life with pleasure, and with sensuality and sexuality and creativity, enjoyment of life. And we move up into Mainipura, which is really our self-governing chakra. It's our chakra of our own willpower, our own confidence, our own, really autonomy. We're coming into our power, our personal power. So in that way, it governs our connection to our purpose, to our ability to set goals and to achieve things in life. And we need this willpower, this discerning willpower. It has the element of Tejus in it. And Tejus in Ayurveda is this discerning ability to make decisions and to make good decisions, based on a slightly higher purpose than gratifying our desires down in Swadhisthana, which are our pleasure desires. But sometimes we need to override this deep desire to have a piece of cake because of a greater purpose that we have for ourselves. You know, I know that cake gives me digestion and doesn't make me feel so good, or I'm trying to lose some weight, or I'm trying to do this or that, you know, so I'm staying up late, but you want to feel vibrant the next day. So we have this is where it comes into this place. So breathing in, feeling into what level of confidence, of self-belief do you have? How good are you at going for goals, of having goals and, you know, achieving them or working towards them? Even if you don't achieve them, that's not always the important aspect, but the fact that you work towards them. Do you feel strong and open and, you know, lifted in this area of the body, or do you feel a sense of collapse, of, you know, weakness, of sort of caving in, so, or a sense of smallness, of playing it small in this area? So that can sometimes give us a sense of some of our underlying beliefs within ourselves, of our own abilities and our standing in life. This can be excessive or it can be deficient, and it can be a combination of the two. So if you're very goal driven, very ambitious, and do that to a fault where you know, burn people along the way, because the element here is fire. So it's this having this inspiration, this igniting this sense of excitement and will, but do you burn people along the way? Are you easily angered because you're in my way? Or do you submit yourself to the will of others very easily? So these are the sort of things that start playing out when there's deficiencies or there's an excess in this area, and we're trying to find the balance. A beautifully balanced Mainipura is this ability to serve in the world, but with kindness, and to enable others also to shine and to bring out the best, not just in yourself, but in those around you. So that's the sense of having a balanced Mainipura here. So just, you know, contemplating that for yourself, and you can continue that perhaps during the week to begin to understand what's going on in this area. This is also digestion. So physically, it's our digestion and metabolism. So it is also our digesting of life and how we can sometimes respond to that. So bringing your hands now up from solar plexus into prayer, and interlacing all your fingers by your index and thumb. So we have like our James Bond pistol grip mudra. It is the mudra, Agni mudra, which is the mudra of fire. So we're going to just start here by taking an inhalation and allowing the hands to ride up overhead. And as you exhale, slicing down through the air in front of you with deliberation and focus. Inhale to allow the arms to ride up and over your head in a single pointedness, keeping that sense of focus as we exhale and slice through the air like a warm knife slicing through cold butter. Inhale, rising. Exhale, slicing. Keep a nice focus. So this is what Muladhara can help us, inhaling, having a really steady focus, and exhale. Inhale, rising, and exhale. Let's start with the bija sound straight off. The bija sound is rum. We're going to inhale, lift arms up, and we're going to rum down instead of arm. Rum, rum, rum and see how many you get in. It might be less or more than what I've just done. 3, magic number. Inhale. Rum, 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 rum. And inhale when you're ready. One last round in your own time. Rum, 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 rum. Inhale the arms overhead. That's beautiful. And this time we're going to open up to the right, taking the left hand to the left knee and the right hand behind us, just gently touching both sides. And inhale, reach back up into the center. And exhale, right hand to right knee as the left hand comes behind us, just gently touching base, and inhale back up. Exhale to open to the right. Inhale to the center. Exhale, opens to the left. Inhale to the center. And this time we're dropping the hand just simply to the right hand side and squeezing over. So squeezing that right side, underarm to hip. So we really open up the left side and really engage that left hip, sit bone, thigh, back down to the earth. Taking a breath, relaxing that shoulder, drawing the shoulder blade down and away from the ear, down the ribs. And then inhale, lift up from the belly center all the way up as you windmill the arms, and use the exhalation to come over to the left-hand side, dropping and squeezing, feeling a little bit like a harpsichord here, where you really open up one side and squeeze into the other. If you want to make musical sounds, you can, whenever you fancy, because you're on your own here, in your own home in privacy. You can run away anytime that it really comes to you, perhaps, to do that. Let's inhale, reach up once again. Let's windmill the hands while rotating through the wrist, just to, create some juiciness there. We don't want to forget, the other elements as we work through fire, because fire can get completely out of control. As us Australians and actually Americans really know well, the devastation that it can have. And that's not just, out in the bush. Inhale, reaching up once again, windmilling the hands. If you want a little juicy play, then take it. And exhale, planting down on that right hip, right thighs, reach out towards the right fingers, draw that left shoulder away from the ear so you've got plenty of space. You're not hooking up. Have the elbow nice and bent if that's going to be helpful. Yeah, a little play can be done there. And inhale back up to the center, and exhale, hand just comes down to the side. And just for a moment, close your eyes, take your awareness inward, and experience whatever is rising for you. You might like to take a couple of deep breaths. And then I'm just going to change the camera so you can see a little more, hopefully, clearly. What's going on? I didn't mark everything out this morning, so hopefully you see okay. We're coming onto our hands and our knees. It may be that you would like a couple of blocks available just at the top of your mat, just in case you need them. And just line yourself up. I'm wearing a nice bright yellow t-shirt for Mainipura. Color coding the chakras. Hands in under your wrists. Hands in under your shoulders, knees in under the hips. You might like to start by just shaking out those feet if they got a little squash. And once again, rotating through the ankles just to juice them up a little bit. And we'll just start simply with a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So take an inhale, drop the lower ribs, roll the sit bones up, lift the chest and chin, feel that, solar plexus area getting a nice stretch. And then exhale, draw into that area as you drop the head and tail, completely release the head and push the floor firmly away from you. And then inhale, rolling back up, dropping the solar plexus down, giving a little stretch. Pull your hips and your heart away from each other as you press the hands into the floor and towards your knees, so you really access that solar plexus area, the stretch. And then exhale, drop the head and tail, squeeze into the solar plexus, releasing the head completely, stretching through the shoulders and back. And then just a couple of rounds for juiciness for yourself. And if you like, you could always, mix it up a little bit if you need a little bit of a squeeze to the side or a little more of a stretch through the lower back and shoulders. So just begin to really tune in and start really connecting to this idea of Tejus, the idea of this ability to discern well, to make decisions well. Decision making, if you're not very good at it, it is part of a deficiency in our Mainipura. So I have that deficiency. I'm terrible decision making. Inhale, lift the right leg up as you look forward, and exhale, coil knee to nose. Inhale, lift, look up, exhale, coiling your knee to nose. Inhale, lift, look up. Exhale, coil in. Inhale, lift, look up. And as you exhale, coil in, just squeeze in for a moment, seeing if you can bring your nose to your knee. If you need to, you can place that top of the foot, toes onto the floor. If that helps you, you might even give yourself a little bit of an Eskimo kiss, and then extend the leg out once again. On an inhale, bend your knee. On an exhale, straighten the leg and continue for another couple of rounds. And then we want to just straighten the leg and rotate the ankle about 3 times in each direction. I want you to begin to draw into your solar plexus so it tucks the front lower ribs in, and this is going to keep you nice and strong as we inhale and lift the left arm up. Again, you can have a little play with the ankle and the wrist if that feels nice for you, or just point and stay completely steady. If you like, you can rest now, or you can bend the knee and grab hold of the foot with the hand. Take an inhale to lift the thigh away from the floor and pronounce your bottom. Breathe a couple of breaths here. And then as you exhale, release the hand that leave the knee bent, come up onto your fingertips, and then coil in strongly as you bring that knee through and the foot to the right hand. Into lunge, Anjaneyasana. When you're ready, we inhale and rise up with both arms. If that's possible, we begin to bring in the Agni Mudra, James Bond Mudra. And as you exhale, slice down the air in front of you as you lower your hips a little bit more, and then bring the hands to the heart. Inhale, push back a little bit, get long through the lower back in particular, and lift the arms up. And as you exhale, squeeze your hips together, press the feet into the floor, and draw the hips down and forward as you slice with the hands. Inhale, pull back once again, get firm in the lower belly and long in the back, and exhale, slicing through as you drop the hips down. Squeeze the hips together to keep you nice and balanced. And then inhale, arms rise up, and we exhale, sink down there just for a moment. Squeeze both feet into the floor and the hips towards each other. Breathing here. Inhale, one more breath, and as you exhale, is it possible to straighten the front leg and to dip forward? The hands can come all the way to the floor if that's supporting for you, or you can just have the arrow like just going straight in front. Inhale, lift back up, drop the hips down, and as you exhale, press into that front foot, pull the hip back, straighten that front leg, and lean forward, and then inhale. Back into Anjaneyasana, and then exhale. Pull the hip back, straighten the leg, and then just bring your hands to either side of the foot. Hallelujah. right? And then we come forward, bringing that knee back over the ankle. And you can make a little fist with the left hand. You can either stay here with the knee down on the floor, the left knee down on the floor, and press into that fist and lift up with the right arm. Or you could tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, and then inhale, extend that right arm up in line. So it's in line with the left arm, right shoulder stacked over the left shoulder. Begin to pull that right hip down towards the floor and kick into the left heel as you bring your right knee forward. Lots going on there. Take one more breath, reach from hand to hand, and then exhale, bring that right hand back down to the floor, and then just pull that right hip back so you straighten that leg once again. Take a breath, bowing over that leg. And inhale, rock forward, come up onto your fingertips and pull up into the heart of the hands, into the middle of the hands, and then see if that's enough for you to lift that leg back towards the left. And you might like to tuck your toes and drop the buttocks back down. You can even plant the palms of the hands back to the floor. And let's just keep going. Inhale, coil up in cat action as you bring the body forward. Shoulders over wrists, and then we roll the sit bones up and draw the hips back. So we're doing a little back bend, looking up. And then release the head and begin to coil forward. So drop the head and tail rounding through the back as you come forward. Shoulders land over the wrists, and then lift the head. Begin to look up as you roll the sit bones up towards the ceiling and pull the buttocks back to the heels. And then we inhale and come back to the center. If you need to draw your hands in a little bit more so you're in nice alignment, then please do. And then we inhale and lift the left leg in line with the hip. And exhale, coil in, knee to nose. Inhale, extend and lift. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend and lift. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend and lift. And exhale, knee to nose. Now we're going to hold here, but as I said, if it's helpful, you can really just press the top of the toes into the floor, push the hands into the floor, and try and marry your nose and knee together. You can do it without the feet to the floor. And then inhale, extend that leg back. Tuck in your solar plexus. So really begin to tuck it back into the body. Straighten up, so that's when you tuck the front ribs in, and then extend and lift that right arm, and reaching from the left foot all the way to the right fingers. You can stay here, you can rest, or you can bend the left knee, grab hold of the foot with your hand, and inhale, begin to lift that thigh away from the floor and push the foot into the hand to create a beautiful bow. Breathing steady. And then one breath more, inhale. And as we exhale, release the foot, keep the knee bent, come up onto your fingers, coil into your center, and see if you can bring that left foot easily to the hands. Once you're in place, make any adjustments required, and then lift off, inhale. Hands come in up over the head as we come into Agni Mudra. And as we take an exhalation, we guide the hips down as we squeeze the feet into the floor and cut through the air in front of us. Inhale, you might like just a little shift back into that back leg. Create some length in the lower back and lift through the heart and head. And exhale, drop down, carefully squeezing the hips together, pressing the feet into the floor and slicing the air in front of you. Inhale, rise once again. And exhale, slicing, diving in. Inhale, rise. Hold here as you exhale, just seeing what you've got, pressing both feet firmly into the floor, keeping the tail long and the heart lifted, shoulders drawing away from the ears. I keep losing you, so I'm not quite sure where you're at. But you're smiling through this. Take one more breath, and as you exhale, we're going to push that front foot into the floor. Pull the hip back and straighten the leg. You could even try lifting the foot. We didn't do that on the last round, but you could try it. Inhale, rising as you bend the knee again, Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, pulling the hip back, straightening the leg, forward fold. It's core work, right? Inhale, rising. Exhale, dropping forward with control, nice and slow. Release the hands, and then just bend the knee back, forward, over the ankle. Make your little fist to the right, either with the back knee still remaining on the floor or tucking the back toe, lifting the back knee. Inhale, lift the left arm up, stacking the left shoulder over the right. And then begin to drop that left hip down so it's in line with the right. And see if you can begin this rotation really from pressing that fist into the floor and moving, stacking the shoulders one on top of the other, but really twisting from the solar plexus up, not from the hips. So keep steady with that left buttocks, hip pulling down, reaching into the back heel, particularly if that back leg is lifted, and then reaching from hand to hand. One more breath there, absolutely gorgeous. And as you exhale, bringing that hand beside the left foot. You might like a little jump in so you're not quite so wide. Bend the back knee and inhale, step forward with the right foot to the left. Uttanasana, half lift on an inhale. Exhale to fold over your legs and just take a moment of play and of pleasure. Let's not burn ourselves out too early in class. Controlling the fire. As you're ready, you can bend both knees and roll up like a ragdoll. Head is the last thing to lift, and then the arms can come up and over, and you can keep the knees slightly bent to ground yourself back down. Hands meet overhead, palm to palm, and exhale. Let's draw the hands back to the heart. Haven't got the perfect camera angle, but so we're coming to stand at the top of our mat. Let's bring our feet together. So the ball of the big toes and the big toes are touching, and the heels are about an inch or so apart. Once again, we start here with the hands in prayer and then turn it into the Agni Mudra. Keep your gaze nice and focused on a place just in front of you. Try and relax your shoulders, relax your breath, relax your attitude, soften your eyes. We want a steady gaze, but not a hard stare. So feel your feet pressing into the floor, slightly pressing into the floor from the ball of the big toes and pulling out to along the edges and then back into the heels. So it's almost this jar opening sort of experience with the feet pulling in opposite directions. And with that, we're sort of, that sort of opens the thighs a little bit, but we want to squeeze our shins, particularly our sort of like top shins towards each other, if that makes any sense to you. And then we inhale and let the arms rise up over our head. And as we exhale, we're going to draw the lower navel in towards the spine, bend the knees, keep the back nice and long, and the arms come all the way in front of us and then down towards the earth. And then inhale, we're going to straighten the whole of our body and reach the hands overhead. And exhale, bend the knees, draw the lower navel towards your spine as you slide down into Utkatasana. Inhale, rising, arms overhead. Exhale, sliding the buttocks down, letting the hands come down in front of you, slicing me down. Inhale, rising, leave the hands where they are, and exhale, sit down. You might like to allow the hands or arms to come a little more forwards if it's uncomfortable in your shoulders and you don't have that opening. So just be where you need to be. Really zipping up the legs here so they're working as one unit. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, bring your hands to your heart in prayer, and we're going to bring that left elbow to the right knee and look over, if you can, that right shoulder. Breathing here. Steady in the feet. Inhale, rise with the hands, keeping the knees bent, and exhale, right elbow to left knee. Squeeze that elbow into the knee and the knee back into the elbow. Press the hands together and see if you can look over that left shoulder. I know it's a lot of fun, right? Ooh, Muladhara, no, Mainipura. Inhale, rise back into Utkatasana. Use the exhalation to hallelujah, straighten the legs and fold over your thighs. Opening up the back of the legs here, use that feet action that I gave you earlier. And just, the knees can be as soft as they need to be here. It's allowing the breath to normalize somewhat. If you need blocks in under your hands, it might be handy to find one block under each hand just now. We're going to half lift. You can come up onto your fingertips if you're not using blocks. And inhale and lift the left leg. So hopefully the foot is in line with the hip. That's an inhale. We're going to use the exhale to bend both knees, drawing that left knee back to the nose, and inhale. Lift both the torso and the leg. And then exhale, coil in. Inhale, lift both torso and the leg, and exhale, coil in. Inhale, extend from the head to the foot. Come up onto your tippy toes of your fingers. And then reach without lifting that hip, just lifting the leg. Bend that front knee and guide the back foot down. And take it out to the left a little bit more. You might even like to take the right foot out to the right. As you drop the back heel down to the floor. Pressing into the front leg and inhale, rise, keeping that knee bent. Make any adjustments with the feet that you need. Virabhadrasana 1. We take an inhale, rooting down through the, from our hips to our feet, through the legs. And as we exhale, we slice down through the center in front of us. Inhale, root down, rise up. Exhale, slice down. Keep your feet nice and steady. Work with this nice balance. Inhale, rise up with the arms. Let's stay there for a moment. Get comfortable. Really feel the grounding, the rooting down in that back foot, and begin to draw your solar plexus in and up, and also, of course, the lower belly in and up. Take one more breath on the inhale. And doing that, and as you exhale, push into that back foot in particular and begin to guide yourself forward with the knee bent. Arms are still out in, the shape of an arrow. Holding here, begin to really split the feet away from each other, pressing them so firmly into the floor. Take one more breath there. And as you exhale, release the hand down, that left hand to the floor. You're going to need to make a slight adjustment with the feet. So tuck in. So hopefully all of us are willing to be with the knee off the floor, but of course, for whatever reason, if you need it the other way, the hand is going to be flat on the floor this time, and press into the thumb and index finger knuckle as you inhale and reach that right arm up. Breathing here, find the lines and find the midline. Really, we work with the lower belly a lot in my class, but we're focusing a little bit more on the solar plexus area. So don't forget the lower belly, but I will be just talking a little bit more about the solar plexus. So find that inner pull back and lift from those two areas as you expand your wings and heel back and crown forward. You can do one of two things here. One, you could drop your hands to your knee. You could drop the back knee to the floor. And from there, you could lift this right foot in line. You could just take it in line because we're coming into Vashisvasanasana. I just didn't say that too well, but in line with the knee and the hand. If you're feeling stronger this morning, you can leave that back knee up in the air. You can step that back foot into the midline a little bit more, drop onto the outer edge, and see if you can pick that foot up and either stack it on top of the other one, or if that's too hard, then just place it behind the foot, and then see if you can inhale, lift up. Push that hand into the floor and lift from your sideways into your top sideways. Take one more breath into plank. So much fun working with fire, right? Inhale, inhale, right knee to right elbow, and exhale, push back, lift the leg high. So in downward facing dog, 3-legged dog. Inhale here, reaching, exhale, bring that right knee to the left step. Inhale, push back and lift the leg high. And exhale, let's just bring it foot to the other. Inhale forward, so you're coming back into plank. Lift from your solar plexus. Draw the solar plexus up into the spine, up into the ribs. Opening up the back body, really pushing away from the floor. And of course, that lower belly's in support. We're going to inhale, lift the left leg, and as we exhale, come forward, bringing the knee to the elbow. Inhale, push back, so you're in 3-legged dog, lift the leg high. Exhale to the other side, left knee, right elbow, and inhale, push back, lift up, hallelujah, exhale, foot beside the other. They're about hip distance. Round forward into plank. Lift from your solar plexus, tucking in those front ribs, broadening from the back shoulders, and then drop the knees to the floor. You can flatten the feet, take an inhale, and as you exhale, slowly lower yourself to the floor by tucking your elbows in towards your ribs and laying the torso down flat. As you arrive, I'd like you just a little bit of smooch time. You might even like to lift your wrists off the floor and rotate them a few times. Take a deep breath in through the nose and sigh out through the mouth. And then hands can land back under the shoulders. We're going to inhale and lift the left foot as we look up and press that right foot into the floor, just gently. And exhale, release down. Inhale, lift the right foot, look up and press the left foot gently into the floor. Exhale down. And repeat 2 more times. Inhale, lift, left. Exhale, drop. Inhale, lift, right. Exhale, drop. 1 more round. Inhale. Exhale. Keep as long as you go lifted. Inhale. And exhale. Take the hands behind you. You might like to turn the palms onto the floor. They can remain there supporting you here, or they can lift off with the legs, depending on how you're feeling this morning. Inhale, rise, lifting the legs, the chest, perhaps the arms as well, and just holding there for a breath or two. Solar plexus heating up nicely, lifting you out of here. 1 more breath in. And as you exhale, let's just take the arms over the head and relax the entirety of the body. You can turn those toes in and the heels out. And take a couple of deep breaths into the back body or wherever you feel you need it. Maybe the solar plexus is a great place to work here. You feel that inhale, press the solar plexus into the floor, still keeping that sense of awareness and, you know, fanning the fires, particularly if you feel a little deficient in this chakra. And then hands coming under the shoulders. We're going to draw the solar plexus in and up and inhale, press the hands into the floor, half plank, tuck the toes under, full plank, and use an exhalation to come into downward facing dog. Take a nice healing breath or two here. You might like to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And then here we're going to lift the heels. We're going to coil through the center, rounding through the back, drawing the energy into, you know, the abdomen, solar plexus. Bend the knees a little, and then just begin this little back and forth with the hands, back and forth with the torso. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, shoot yourself forward so the hands land in between hands. So the feet land in between hands. Half lift as you arrive. And exhale to fold. And then bend the knees. And instead of rolling up, though, you can take that as an option. We're going to come up through Utkatasana, arms just in line with the shoulders. And exhale as we straighten the legs and release the hands down. Just feel into what's going on for you. Just feel how this stronger way of working with this chakra can begin to create a sense of clarity, of strength, of a slightly, you know, strong feeling here within yourself. So we bring the hands into prayer once again, and then turn that into the Agni Mudra. Inhale to bend the knees and raise the arms as we come in through Utkatasana. Draw that lower navel in and up, and then press the solar plexus in as well. Take a breath there, and as you exhale, folding over the thighs. Feet are together, by the way. I did forget to maybe mention that. So that particular pose can be super useful. And then we're going to half lift, and if you like your blocks for this, please take them, or you can come up onto your fingertips. We're going to inhale and lift that right leg high so the foot is in line with the hip. And not the hip lifting, right? Just the leg. And then exhale, knee to nose. You can bend both knees. Inhale, extend and lift both legs straight now. And exhale, both knees bend, the left, right knee to the nose. Inhale, lift and extend. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift and extend and hold there just for a moment. Get long from the back foot to the ground. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, begin to bend that front knee, guiding that back foot down to the floor. Step it out to the right, step the left foot out to the left a little, and then drop that right heel to the floor. Inhale, press into the front foot, rise up with the bent knee into Virabhadrasana 1. James Bond Mudra, Agni Mudra, trying to be a little bit more sensible here. So make yourself comfortable. I find this warrior pose a little tricky for my feet and for my hips. So find your way with it. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, once again, slicing through the air in front of you with the hands, really grounding down through that back foot, finding that effort from the ball of the foot to the heel, that jar opening sort of experience, particularly that back foot there, keeping you connected to the earth. Exhale, hands slicing down. And then inhale, rising up, holding there for a moment. Get both feet really strong and connected. Draw in the lower navel, but then draw in the solar plexus as well. Take an inhale with all of that scooping into the midline of the body. And as you exhale, press into that back foot and come forward with the torso, with the arms long and strong, drawing the shoulders back away from the ears. Now, both feet need to work really hard here. Don't, just rely on that front foot. Really try and draw as much effort as you can into that back foot. Take one more breath, like the arrow that you are, strong and steady and straight and focused. And then on an exhale, we release the hands, the flat of the right hand to a block or to the floor, of course, and lifting that back heel. If you need to step it in a little bit more for better alignment, please do. And you might need to lengthen it. Lengthen the stance. We inhale and lift the left arm. Now try and drop that left hip back in, so we're keeping the right and left hips even. Shoot into the back heel, all the way from the heel, pushing back to the crown, reaching forward. And from that, right hand pressing into the floor, reaching into the left fingers. Trying to twist from the solar plexus up. So it's an upper body twist. Take one more breath there, and as you exhale, bring that left hand to the hip. You can drop that back knee to the floor and let that back foot swing out a little bit as you bring the left foot in line with your knee and hand, or you can keep that back knee lifted. You would then maybe step that right foot into the midline a little bit more, and then roll to the outer edge, being really strong and the ankle really pushing into the foot, and see if you can step that foot and either place it behind you or stack it one on top of the other. And then if you like, you could reach that left arm up, or you don't have to, could remain on the hip. Lifting the side raise away from the floor. Breathing. Keep with me, peeps. Keep with me. One more breath. And as you exhale, slowly, that left hand comes to the floor. We turn to be back in the full plank pose. Now here, hip feet can be about hip distance. Let's just inhale, right knee in, exhale it back straight. Inhale, left knee in, exhale it back straight. And just continue that a few times, as fast or as slow as you like. And if you really want to heat yourself up and just get into this, you can jog, 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 jog. Tommy wants to get into it. He thinks he's on a run. And then when you're ready, back into plank. Drop the knees down. Draw the navel in, the solar plexus in, and then slowly bend those elbows and lay yourself slowly onto the floor. Yes. We did it. How beautiful is that? You might like to take your hands over your head and release through the wrists. Take a couple of deep breaths through the nose. You might like to sigh it out through the mouth. Releasing any excess heat. Oh, my little boy. It's wondering what's going on. Oh, sweet pops. And then just take a couple of grounding and cooling breaths. Just letting the fire die down a little bit. We don't want it to burn you out. So you can feel the solar plexus connected to the floor, connected to the earth, and connected to the breath. Air is what fans the fire. So breathe in. We don't want it to go out. We want to keep a nice steady steady glow, steady burn. Then when you're ready, we're going to bring our hands alongside the body. We're going to tuck those feet in so they're sort of in line with the hips. Now, there's a couple of things you can do here. Now, one is you can leave the hands pressing into the floor, supporting you in the Shalavasana variation that we did before. Or you can let the hands lift up in the Shalavasana variation that was part of that. And when we're ready, you can either repeat any of those or you can come into the full Dandarasana bow pose where we grab hold of our ankles. We're going to do a round to warm ourselves up and then work into that. So please know that you can tone down and ramp up as you feel you need to. So maybe I'll just do all of those one by one, and you can choose whether you join me or do your own thing. We're going to press the hands into the floor, use an inhalation to lift the feet and the chest up, looking forward. We're keeping the back of the neck long enough so it's comfortable. Take one more breath, lift, and exhale to release. Take a breath of relaxation. Let all of the muscles of the thigh and leg and shoulders just relax for a moment. And then next time we're going to lift the hands, the arms with the feet and torso. So let the inhalation lift you. Inhale. Exhale to keep flying, drawing the shoulder blades down the body, pressing the belly, the pelvis, really the sacrum into the floor. Feel your solar plexus, putting in one more breath. Lift. Exhale, release, relax, surrender. If you need an inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, take it. Let everything sort of normalize once again. We don't want to get to the point where we deflate ourselves, pull down too much, and we don't want to get to the point where we're fatiguing ourselves and burning ourselves out. So the Goldilocks theory, philosophy is at play usually all the time, right? So grab hold of your ankles if you're joining me for this last Raha, or you can choose any one of the last two that we did, or you can choose to rest. Forehead to the ground, and begin first by just lifting the thighs off the floor and letting that pressing of the ankles into the hands lift the shoulders, and then lastly you can lift the head. Inhale, begin to really make your whole body alive, pressing those ankles into the feet, feet pulling back, shoulders opening, thighs lifting. Belly engaged, smile on the ribs. Inhale and let's lift. Exhale, release. Release the legs, release the arms, and if you like, release the cheek to the floor. Draw your toes in towards each other, heels apart, and take 3 deep breaths, perhaps where you're exhaling through the mouth. Just feeling the breath moving in and out of the body. And also really nourishing and supporting solar plexus. Feel into the heat and the strength and perhaps even the releasing that this class may have produced for you. How relaxed can you become after all that effort? There's something about a balanced, expanded Mainipura that gives a person charisma, gives a person a sense of deep ease within themselves, So you see when someone really has a beautifully balanced chakra here, in their ease within themselves and their interactions with others. So you might like to place the forehead back into the floor, draw the heels in line with the toes and bringing the hands in under the shoulders. You can come through a little baby back bend if that is your desire, or simply push up into half plank. Or if you feel really strong and into it right now, full plank. Inhale. And as you exhale, push back, buttocks to heels. You might like to walk those feet in just a little bit more. So you can have a nice comfortable downward dog, stretching from the hands pressing into the floor, really pressing the index finger into the earth to keep yourself nice and steady there, pulling back all the way from those hands, grounding, rooting down into your underarms, and from your underarms all the way into your hips. Hips lifting, sit bones rolling, and at the same time grounding down through the heels or towards the heels. Yeah. Take a nice breath, lift both heels, bend the knees, and begin this little sway back and forth, like you're just going to be ready to jump. Take an inhale, exhale, to jump, to drop, release the body over the legs. You might like a little rotation here through the shoulders. A little relaxing through the neck, swinging the chin from side to side. And then you can bend the knees and either roll up through ragdoll or lift up from the solar plexus with the flat back, kicking the knees bent as the hands come in over the head in Utkatasana. And then on an exhale, straighten the legs, bring the hands to the heart. Tedasana. Take one more breath to enliven the entirety of your body. Use the exhalation to release the hands down. Breathing into the whole body and just feeling into what has been cleared out. You know, fire has this ability to purify, to burn out, to transform. I mean, that is its main thing. And the fire or fire on, you know, the quantum physics levels, you know, within the body. It's about transforming one energy into another. It's an act of purification. So every time we're really working with the energy of fire, then we're working with this idea of purification, of transforming, of up-leveling, of getting over, you know, this sort of lifting ourselves up, burning through our shit. So see now how it feels in your body and what differences there are in compared to perhaps an outward mode. And then once again, we bring our hands into prayer at the heart center. We interlace the fingers all by the index thumb. Use the inhalation to rise up as you root down through the feet. And then let's just actually widen the feet so they're hip to shoulder distance. Toes can be turned out a little bit more than the heels, and exhale, bend the knees and slide your way down into, you can lift the heels if you need to, into a squat. And then slowly, slowly, slowly squeeze the solar plexus into the spine and lifting in the lower belly as you drop your buttocks down to the floor, or support yourself with your hands behind you in order to do that. Let's pistol grip our big toes, or you could hold your ankles, or at worst, you know, or at least you could hold the back of your thighs if none of those other ones work for you. And we just begin to lift. You might just be here with the knees bent and the shins sort of parallel or just about parallel to the floor. Or if you've got it without losing this length through the spine and this openness in the heart, you can straighten those legs. Draw the arm bones back into their sockets. Lift your gaze just above your toes. Keep the legs and belly engaged and your eyes and face soft. One more breath, and then use the exhalation if you've got straight legs to bend the knees. And if you can, we're just going to release the hands, and for a moment do it with no hands, or you can have the hands back underneath your thighs or your knees. Take one more breath, and then slowly exhale, begin to coil down. Really, if you can, super slow motion as you begin to straighten the legs out somewhat. Actually, we'll keep the knees bent. We'll drop the feet to the floor, and then we can drop the arms out to the side and take a beautiful, deep solar plexus breath. You might like to let the head roll from side to side a couple of times. Now, I just thought I'm going to finish class a little different to what I planned in my head. So this might be too difficult for some of you. So the first option will be just to drop the knees out and bring the soles of the feet together and have the Supta Konasana posture here. But I want you to keep the focus a little bit more in the solar plexus than in the hips. Of course, you can take some breaths there, relaxing there, breathing into it, but coming up with your awareness into the solar plexus. If you've got it in you, I'd love to offer this to you, this Supta Virasana. Now, this is pretty tricky. You might need some equipment for it, but we could take the flesh of our calf muscles out of the way, sit between our feet or onto a block. That's where if you're taking a block under here, then you'll need a bolster behind you. And that could definitely be a setup. And then if you've still got it and you're still with me, you can lengthen the tail, like really wiggle your bum, lengthen your tail, and drop the cheekbone and butt cheeks to the floor with this lengthening, tucking in action, and then come down onto the elbows. That might be enough for you, or maybe you're on a bolster by now, and that could just be enough for you. Some of you might be able to keep lengthening in the lower back, and then drop yourself all the way. You could have just blocks, perhaps, if you're almost there but not quite out the way, please. Almost there but not quite out the way. He's getting jealous. And you can have a block right under your shoulder blade, and then the other block. Oh, see, that's really nice. Right under the crown of the head. That's it. Yeah, that could be very nice. Or if you're super into it, you can drop everything and just keep tucking that tail. Keep drawing the flesh of your buttocks down towards your knees. And you could even, oh gosh, dog, lengthen the arms over your shoulders. Jessie, no, baby, come on. Breathe into the belly. Breathe into the solar plexus. And then as you're ready, just beginning to slowly come out. And if you're if you're in Supta Konasana, the soles of the feet together, you could just straighten one leg out to the right and the other leg out to the left, so they're nice and wide, and arms come in nice and wide. Otherwise, you're going to have to, sit yourself up and take your legs out and straighten them out. You might need to wag them out, shake them out, do anything like that. As you come into the full Shavasana, draw your shoulder blades in towards each other and take the flesh of the buttocks down towards the heels. And lift the head and lengthen the back of the neck slightly, and then drop the crown, the back of the head to the floor. So the chin is ever so slightly tucked, or at least the chin is perpendicular to the floor. Hopefully palms are facing up. And a nice little thing that can sometimes be pleasant is to have your blocks or some cushions or something for the hands to lift up onto, the back of the hands to lift up onto. This can be handy if your shoulders don't quite fit the bill with this, palms facing up. You might like to begin just a few rounds of the Ujjayi breath. Light Ujjayi breath, drawing into the solar plexus. Some nice, deep, grounding Ujjayi breaths into the solar plexus. Relaxing your shoulders, your neck, your belly, your hips, your thighs. Let your whole body rest on the earth. And begin to allow natural breath to return, to take over. But if it naturally turns into a continued deepened breath, you just go with it. Just allow the body to lead you into the depth of this relaxation. This ability to discern intelligently what we need is part of this Mainipura, lighting the way. So as you continue to focus your attention on the breath, find that attention sitting in the solar plexus, feeling the breath moving in and out of this chakra, or within this chakra. So as we dive a little deeper into the body, and it's not this in out, let's keep it deep into the solar plexus, deep into the inner body, where we feel like we're breathing in from the center of our solar plexus, the center of Mainipura. And as we inhale, it gently expands to the outer edge of the chakra, expanding it, clearing it. And as we exhale, retreating back into its own center. And as we did before, on each inhalation, you might like to imagine that beautiful brightness, that beautiful yellow, bright, tingling color, expanding, brightening, enhancing. And this is a three-dimensional experience. Don't think front body. Think 3 dimensions. Think in 3D. And as you exhale and come back to the core of Mainipura. Have this sense that it's strengthening. The inhale is expanding, is allowing the rays of your sun to expand out further. And then on the exhalation is drawing back to that little molten core center of the chakra. It gives you the strength that you need to not just be in this world, but to be who you are, to be who you authentically are. This is our autonomy. So self-love is really beginning here, rather than in the heart chakra. Let's begin the process of self-love here in Mainipura. And then you can just let go of all of that. Let your awareness expand beyond the chakra and into and throughout and beyond the body. Feeling into the air around you, the space that surrounds your body. The room in which you lie in, the home in which you live in, the town in which your home is, the state in which you are in, of the country that you live, perhaps of the hemisphere that you reside, and into the whole world, expanding yourself, your presence, your reach into the whole world. You might even imagine a little beyond, we have the biosphere and that beautiful magnetic ring around the earth protecting us. Perhaps as much out to space as there. And feel your own power and your own connection. And you may like to make your own little affirmation. Or you may like to just say, I am powerful, or I am strong, or even I am beautiful. And when you're ready, you can begin to wake yourself up by little movements, or perhaps simply rolling onto a side. Taking your time and as you're ready, just coming to sit together. And if you're at home and you're really enjoying Shavasana, or if this is a video, you don't need to get up. You can just stay for as long as you need. Let's bring our hands into Agni Mudra again and place it just at the solar plexus. And let's just close class with about 5 or so rums. And as you repeat the bija sound, let that vibrational tone enter into the chakra. Just join when you're ready. Ram, 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 ram. You might like to bring your hands into prayer at the heart center and bow your head towards it. Just taking one last breath and repeating your affirmation that you chose. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. I hope that wasn't too much of a shock for you. So if you would like to work with Mainipura during the week, there's plenty of information on the internet. So if you want to delve a little deeper, you can. But you might like to also just begin to flex the muscle of will in your life. So you might like to just choose a couple of small goals that are really doable for you, that you can achieve, and begin to make yourself feel a little better and feel a little bit more in control. I'm wearing this t-shirt. You guys in the local area know this t-shirt, kindness will change the world. Actually, I believe that this chakra is actually about kindness. It talks about self-power, and we're so obsessed in so many countries. Human race, I guess, is obsessed about power, but in this very masculine way. It's not a balanced power, that obsession that we have. So I'm not talking about that masculine, go smash them sort of self-empowerment. But this self-empowerment that comes from a balanced Manipura is a power of kindness. So if you want to tap into that sense of self as well, your ability to give to another, you could do some sort of volunteering or some sort of act of kindness towards somebody else. And that actually has this really nice way of perking us up and feeling our own ability. Our ability to help somebody else always makes us feel stronger within ourselves. So there's a couple of ideas that I had for you to perhaps begin to work with bringing this up. If you have an overinflated one, and I don't feel like I know anyone here that does, but you might like to just pull back a little bit with, notice how you speak to people or and how you power through things. If you're a workaholic, you might like to, just try and slow everything down a little bit, take a little bit more downtime, find more time, as I say, to be kind to other people, to give time to other people, and not just, this over focus on yourself and your achievements. Have a great week, peeps. Love you all, and look forward to seeing you next week for Anaha.